Hello everyone, Mr. Gamer here, and today I am joined by Simply Vame, and we will be showing you the tips and tricks of Dungeon Quest. First on the list, we'll be talking about healing. A lot of healers, what they typically do is they have about the recommended health for the dungeon, and then they put all the rest of their points into spell. So right now, Vame would be healing about maybe 80 mil per chain, because he's got the rest of his points in the spell, and he only has 123,000 health. The problem with this is that a lot of the times, those people will die because they have such minimal health. So if you could make your health like 250k or 300k, and we'll wait for you to do that. If you know, okay, yeah. And since you can just reset your point, it seems like a lot of people don't know that you can actually reset your points, and it costs very minimal gold, because they almost never seem to do it. No, make it, yeah, 250-ish. And, yeah. Alrighty. So, now we will show you in the dungeon how much better this is. As you can see, we have made it to the mini-boss, and because he is 250k health, now, if he gets hit by one of these lasers, he won't be in danger of dying instantly. And, let's see, I'm going to take a bit of damage. Now heal. And, let's see how much health he did. 382. And he's still healing over 100 million per chain, yet he has more health than he did last time. Which means that if you do have good enough gear, you can have at least 300, maybe 400,000 health, and you'll be healing a lot. The next tip is how to best avoid this boss. Now, there's not one correct way to do it, but I do have a somewhat good way. For when he throws the rock at you, what I like to do is, Vame's doing it wrong, but basically you go here, you go right to the edge, then right back to the middle, because for whatever reason, he never throws a rock down back in the middle of where the original thing was. So if you go to the edge, then back to the middle, it should work. Like, edge, middle. And there's really just nothing you can do if there's 4 rocks down on top of you at once, but that's the best way I found to avoid this boss. Now, for this boss, what everyone needs to be able to recognize is when the smoke from the Master Swordsman is coming, because he deals a lot of damage in a short amount of time. So just keep your camera like kind of zoomed out. You see the smoke, and then you just go the opposite direction. Vame's doing it the completely wrong way, and because of that, he just died. Even though he had 250k health. So healers, you might want more. So I see smoke, and then I run the opposite direction. Don't even bother trying to attack. And then the best way is just to keep running to side, and then he pauses, be like in the outer area of the water circle, and you should be able to dodge his all-around laser beam. Another good thing to always have in your lobby is a tank, because especially in like this area, there's just a lot of guys here, and they could be dealing a lot of damage, and a lot of people, when I stream, usually take damage in this area, and at least 3 people will usually die, it seems. Another good thing for the tank is for this boss, if Vame will demonstrate, you go right behind the boss, right up against the railing here, and you stand with your back to the railing, and then you taunt it. So, yeah, just like that. And then the boss will focus its 3-pronged attack on the tank, just like that. And so you can have everyone else stand in this area, and they're less likely to take damage, because they only have to dodge this one attack. Another thing I have seen a lot of people die to is when someone, okay, well you need, yeah, taunt it, is when someone else has it taunts, and then the DPS will get too close, like they'll get right behind the tank, and then the guys will attack, like the shuriken throwers, they'll shoot their lines, the person will be behind the tank, and they will die because they were standing behind them. So it's best to either stand off to the side, or if you look, stand away from the tank more. And then another good... okay, yeah, so definitely stand against the wall for this. The best way I have found for dodging is to have shift lock, because you can just move in a different direction a lot faster by just moving your mouse. And if you do have a tank against the wall, as I said before, it will also taunt the elite swordsman. I forgot to mention that. If you know, if they keep on using their taunt. But, or maybe it won't, whatever.
No, it won't.
Okay, but in settings, to just turn on shift lock, you just turn on this, and then if you press shift, your camera goes like this, and you just turn it with your mouse. Okay, we will now be showing off all the tips we've talked about in one single game, and this guy joined us in the lobby, didn't even know he was there until we started, really, and he is a healer with 370,000 health. So clearly he knows about the healer part, which is good. And Vame will now be a double tank if... yep, there we go. And see, he's still healing 85 million per chain heal, but also with 370,000 health. So you really don't need all your points in the spell. And Vame, yeah, go taunt that group. I'll take care of these. And I'll make sure not to stand behind you. So basically stand the opposite way of where the mages are facing. So you have the least likely chance to take damage from them. And then they're dead. Perfect. Just blasting through this. Now
Perfect.
I'm going to do some damage to them until you lure. Oh, missed this one guy. Now, you always want to try to get, or be using Illusion Blast or Flame Cyclone, because they do give you more speed than the mobs, so you will be able to outmaneuver them, and they should not damage you at all. So there is that part complete.
Complete.
Oh yes, complete indeed. So he's already taken a lot of damage, and he's also healing for whatever reason. But then, in the past, I might have been just using Illusion Heal because I was too lazy to switch. But for this, Ghostly Rampage is better to use against the mini-bosses. And see, now that Vame is taunting the boss, or if he does taunt the boss, cough cough, there you go.
I did.
Then yes, he will focus on the tank until the taunt wears off, just like that. And then he will need to do it again. But until that point, you'll only have one set of attacks to worry about, which makes it a lot easier to get past that part. Then I have noticed people die on this one as well, so Vame will demonstrate. You should most likely let the tank go first, especially for the part with the mages, because they shoot out all the things at once, and that can be hard to dodge. But just like that, because of the tank, we are through it. But tisk. Oh yeah, I have noticed this is kind of weird, but if you do take too long in killing the guys, which sometimes happens if you're one of the few DPS that are left in the dungeon and they have a lot of health, that the taunt will wear off and they will start to attack you, which can be a bit of a struggle. So hopefully these tips can help more people to stay alive, because then that should be happening less. And since Vame's taking, he doesn't need to worry about dodging the stuff. So I will show that if the gorilla does attack me.
The gorilla.
Oh yeah, the gorilla. I just call it that because whatever. The what boss? The respectful?
What?
Didn't you just call it the respectful boss?
No, the most painful boss.
Oh, the most painful, okay. Oh yeah, I usually, if I'm soloing, I always take damage at that part because you just can't get around them if you're trying to go straight through without stopping. So once again, let the tank go first, taunt it, untake the hits, and then get behind the guys so they won't attack you. So let the tank be at the front and then be at the back. Wait for him to go forwards again. And it looks like we're going to be completing this dungeon in just about 5 minutes. Because we only have 1 DPS, a healer, and 1 tank. So, you know, it's all up to me. But,
Having a healer is very important.
oh yes, for sure. If you don't have a healer, you will die. Because I've still taken damage. It hasn't been enough to kill me. But you still will most likely take a bit of damage.
It also helps out the tank. You know, with the
Oh
tank
yes. Most tanks, now, they used to be self-sustaining, which means they would heal and taunt. But now, because they released a better taunt, they just go with 2 of them. So it's a lot more important to have a healer if you also have a tank. Because the tank will most likely not be healing themselves and dodge a smoke. Okay, it's going to be actually like 5 minutes 30 seconds for this one, but still good. Then you back up a bit, makes it easier to dodge that attack. The orange circles you can really do nothing about. Sometimes you'll get trapped within them. I know that's happened to me. But just keep moving and the lasers should not be able to hit you. And there we go. I would like to thank you all for watching this Dungeon Quest tips and tricks video. I hope these will help you to become a more successful player, so you can be able to dodge faster and make less people mad about dying so often. Or if you just thought it was cool to see what you knew about the game, then, well, hopefully you knew a lot, or maybe you learned something new. Simply Vame's channel will be linked in the description. I recommend you to go check it out, because he has some cool things there. And I will see you all next time. Peace out.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me.